Hello, group. Welcome to my Module 7 video, Chapter 9 discussion. Before I get into the questions, I want to say that I think this book is weird because some chapters are complicated, at least in my opinion. Some of them are complicated and don't make sense because some topics in this book, they go way too deep about communications, which makes it hard for me to understand. And then there are chapters like this one, which makes me think why they even talk about this, because it's really common sense. And we also literally talked about the same thing last quarter, teams and groups. So it's like a repeat. But yeah, that's just my opinion. So question 1, discuss and differentiate between groups and teams in terms of both development and performance. Why do the authors differentiate? Give examples from the text and your personal experience with groups to help support your answer. So, what's the difference between groups and teams? Well, teams focus more on teamwork, and everyone is accountable for their work and their members' work. Team members view each other's work as if it's their own work, and teams they just help each other out, and the goals are established by teams is in everyone's same interest. But groups are different because even though they work together, they are focused on their own interests. Every member in the group is accountable for themselves, and the goals established for a group is not done by the members but by someone that is in charge of the group or has authority. The difference between groups and teams are listed in a table on page 261. Now, from my personal experience, in college I have experienced how it feels to be in a group versus a team. And in my experience in being in school, when I'm assigned group project or any type of work, I've been in groups where every member did their own parts and as well helped each other as if it's their own parts. And I also been in groups where you are just with a group of people and it feels like you're basically working alone because everyone gets their own part and you work on it alone. And if you're struggling or behind, it's on you if you don't finish your part. From my experience, teams are much more effective because when you help your team members with their work, you gain more respect from them, and they in return help you, and your relation overall improves. And since your relation improves, your team efficiency will improve, and the quality of work will also improve. Question 2, how do models of group development and team performance help you better understand groups and group dynamics? Can you think of times this information may have been helpful or useful in the past? Use and cite the text, as well as examples from your professional life to illustrate your response. Personally, the models of group development and team performance don't help me understand groups more than I did before, because the models presented in this chapter is pretty much similar to how I view how groups and team work. Both the group development model and team performance model are similar because they talk about the formation of the group, and they both talk about talk about how teams and groups need to get used to each other and build some trust before a group they can move on, before groups and teams can move on to focus on what needs to be completed. The only difference I see between the team model and the group model is the team model is more about commitment and performance compared to groups. I don't think having models about this topic is much help because we already know that teams work together and treat each other's work as their own, and because of this, the quality and overall performance will be better. This is talked about on page 261 through 264. Discuss the impact. This is question 3, I think. No, this is the last. Yeah, question 3, the last one. Discuss the impact of the various group roles discussed in the chapter. What roles have you played? Think of class or work groups. How do you think your peers would describe your group roles? Be honest. Some of them might comment on their experience of your roles in this discussion. Use and cite the text as well as examples from your professional life to illustrate your response. Okay, well, I can't really pick which group task role I am because it really depends on the situation. Like, for example, if I am put in a group and we were to work on a project that is not in my specialty, I am more like a blend of the information seeker and opinion seeker. Because if I'm not familiar with what I'm going to be working on, I will try to seek for information, and I'm going to be seeking a lot of people's opinions. Now, if I were placed in a group where the project is like where I'm comfortable with the project and it's within my specialty, I feel I am more of an information giver and a initiator, contributor, and elaborator. But like I said, it all depends on the situation because there are many factors which could lead me to take a certain role. It's not just if I'm like familiar with the topic. Maybe there's bad relations between group members and you are forced to take certain roles, and it really depends. Now, for the group building and maintenance roles, it's the same answer as well. It depends on the situation. Sometimes I can be the encourager, compromiser, or even the gatekeeper if I see that a person isn't being ignored in a group. I'll take up the gatekeeper role to make them feel better, or I might be a compromiser if I see that another member in a group is more knowledgeable than me about a certain topic. Then in that case I will just compromise my own opinion and trust a knowledgeable person. So there's no really like straightforward answer for this question for me because it depends on the situation. The group roles were discussed on pages 276 through 280, and yeah, that's all for this week, guys. See you tomorrow in class.